So, I felt like he was doing everything slightly better today, especially serving.
What happens when the world's #1 tennis player falls in love? And instead of celebrating it, he hides it in silence. In a sport where every detail is dissected, every move watched, and every whisper magnified, Jannik Sinner and Anna Kalinskaya tried to write a different kind of story, a love story behind the curtains. But the more they hid, the more the world became desperate to see. It all began quietly, almost too quietly, in the spring of 2024. While fans were fixated on tournaments in Monaco, a single photograph sparked a wave of rumors. A fan, innocently taking a picture with Sinner, accidentally captured something far juicier. His phone screen lit up with Anna Kalinskaya's name. That one detail spread like wildfire. For the tabloids, it was confirmation of what had only been whispered. The young Italian prodigy was no longer single. Weeks later, the whispers turned into evidence. Paparazzi in Paris spotted them sharing dinner before Roland Garros. Days after, Anna appeared in Sinner's player box during the French Open, cheering with an energy that was impossible to ignore. Cameras caught her clapping, smiling, and leaning forward with every point. And that was it. The curtain was pulled back. Sinner, usually so private, admitted the rumors were true. "Yes, we are together," he said, though carefully refusing to reveal details. For the fans, this was more than gossip. It was a fairy tale moment. In a sport often brutal and lonely, here was the image of two professionals supporting each other. During the summer, their story seemed unstoppable. Sinner reached the final in Halle. Kalinskaya did the same in Berlin. She joked with reporters, saying, "I'm just trying to be a little as good as him." For once, love and competition seemed to dance hand in hand. There were sweet, almost cinematic touches. During the U.S. Open, after one of his victories, Sinner surprised Anna's younger brother, a footballer, with a signed Steph Curry jersey. Nikolai Kalinsky proudly showed it on social media, the gesture signaling not just romance, but family bonds forming. Even their sense of humor went public. In a playful moment, fellow Russian player Darya Kasatkina teased Anna about Sinner's famous obsession with carrots, a running joke in the tennis world. Anna laughed it off, showing she was comfortable with both the joke and the relationship. For fans, these moments painted a perfect picture, two rising stars, competitive yet loving, a power couple in the making. And yet, beneath the smiles, there was an edge of tension. Sinner's words in interviews were curious, almost cold. Asked about how the relationship changed his life, he replied, "I don't think anything has changed. Having a girlfriend is something that either makes you feel good or makes you feel bad. But I want it to be something natural. I can't afford to change as a player or as a person." Was this honesty? Or was it distance? Some fans admired his maturity, respecting his choice to keep private life private. Others accused him of sounding emotionless, of undervaluing the woman by his side. A love story born in silence had now created noise, and the noise was only getting louder. Because as summer turned to Wimbledon, the fairy tale would face its first true storm. Wimbledon, the cathedral of tennis where legends are crowned and dreams are destroyed in silence on center court's grass. For Jannik Sinner, arriving in London in 2025 as the world #1, this was supposed to be his moment. A chance to cement himself not just as Italy's golden boy, but as a champion on the sport's most sacred ground. Fans in Britain, too, were watching with fascination. Could this icy cool young star become the next great icon? Instead, what they witnessed was a storm. In the quarterfinals, Sinner faced Daniil Medvedev, a man unpredictable, awkward, and dangerous when he found his rhythm. On paper, Sinner was the favorite, the player destined to win. But as the match unfolded, something was off. His movement seemed sluggish, his eyes heavy, his rallies unusually short. And when the final ball flew past his racket, the crowd gasped. The #1 in the world was gone. Just like that. The explanations came quickly. Whispers said Sinner was battling a virus, that he hadn't slept the night before. He himself admitted feeling weak. But in the ruthless theater of Wimbledon, excuses are rarely forgiven. Fans wanted dominance, not vulnerability. The loss wasn't just a defeat. It was a humiliation for someone touted as the sport's future king. And then came the photographs. Days after the match, paparazzi lenses caught Sinner and Anna Kalinskaya strolling on the beaches of Sardinia, laughing, holding hands, basking in the Mediterranean sun. To the untrained eye, it was a couple taking a well-deserved break. But for critics, the timing was scandalous. How could he be too sick to fight on the grass of Wimbledon, yet healthy enough for cocktails on a beach? British tabloids pounced, Headlines painted him as distracted, questioning whether romance was weakening his edge. On social media, fans clashed. Some defended him fiercely. He's human. He needs rest. Others were merciless. We wanted a warrior at Wimbledon, not a holidaymaker. Anna, too, became a target, accused of being a distraction at the worst possible moment. For the first time, their love story wasn't charming. It was controversial. Every smile on that beach photo was dissected, every caption analyzed. What had once been celebrated as a fresh tennis romance was now painted as the reason for failure. And behind it all, a more subtle pressure began to build. Sinner was not just fighting opponents on court, he was fighting perception, gossip, and the crushing weight of expectation. For Anna, who had her own career struggles, the noise must have been deafening. Fairy tales do not collapse in silence. They crumble under the roar of an audience that demands perfection. And at Wimbledon, the roar was deafening. But if the world thought the storm would pass, they were wrong. Because in the months that followed, the silence between Jannik Sinner and Anna Kalinskaya became louder than ever. By the time the ATP finals arrived, Jannik Sinner had already proven that Wimbledon hadn't broken him. He was still the relentless competitor, tearing through opponents with icy precision. The crowd in Turin roared for their hero, the Italian flag waving proudly as he marched into the semifinals. On court, it looked like nothing could shake him. But off court, something was missing. In the stands, that became where partners, family, and friends usually gather, Anna Kalinskaya was nowhere to be seen. Not a glimpse of her smile, not a clap of encouragement. Instead, her Instagram showed snapshots of dinners with friends, far from the intensity of the tournament. The contrast was stark. While Jannik was lifting Italian tennis to new heights, Anna was dining in Moscow, radiating happiness but alone. And then came the revelation that set social media ablaze. Both Sinner and Kalinskaya had unfollowed each other on Instagram. For fans, this was not just a digital button. It was a declaration. The couple who once trained together, celebrated together, and laughed in front of cameras had suddenly gone silent on one another. Speculation spread like wildfire. Russian outlets reported they were taking a pause to reevaluate their relationship. British media spun it in drama. Was Sinner distancing himself to protect his focus? Or had Anna decided she'd had enough of life under the microscope? Meanwhile, Anna's own career was faltering. After a tough season, including a crushing loss to Karolina Muchova in Ningbo, her ranking plummeted. She retreated home, reconnecting with friends, posting cheerful photos, but always without Jannik. Her fans praised her resilience, but the absence of her boyfriend in her updates screamed louder than any caption. For Jannik, the optics were tricky. Winning on the court without her presence only intensified rumors. Was this proof that Anna had been a distraction? Was his resurgence linked to her absence? Tennis, after all, is cruel in its narratives, and fans are quick to draw lines between private lives and public performance. And yet, not everything was lost to bitterness. Memories of their sweeter days, the Paris dinners, the family gestures, the jokes about carrots, clashed with the coldness of unfollows and separate lives. To many, it was painful. The young couple had symbolized hope, joy, even innocence in a cutthroat sport. Now, all that remained was silence. Silence, however, can be louder than any scandal. And it was that silence that made the next chapter of their story even more explosive. Because just as fans prepared to accept that Jannik and Anna were finished, the tabloids threw gasoline on the fire with rumors that shocked even the players themselves. No. The U.S. Open of 2025 was meant to be Jannik Sinner's crowning moment, and it was. Under the bright lights of New York, he finally conquered his first Grand Slam title. The young Italian, once dismissed as too quiet, too cold, too private, had proven his critics wrong. He had the game, the grit, the glory. But while the tennis world celebrated, a different story began to surface. The tabloids couldn't resist. Whispers of a secret proposal to Anna Kalinskaya spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed that the U.S. Open victory had been followed by a romantic engagement, a fairy tale ending for tennis's most private couple. Fans rushed online, debating every photo, every gesture, every glance from the stands. Had he really dropped to one knee? Was Anna about to become Mrs. Sinner? But reality is rarely so cinematic. Weeks later at the Shanghai Masters, Sinner was asked about the rumor. His reaction said it all. With a half smile, half laugh, he looked genuinely puzzled. Wait, what? That's news to me. No, I didn't ask. Nothing happened. The press room burst into laughter. In a single moment, the fairy tale collapsed. It wasn't romance. It was gossip. And then Anna herself joined the chorus, posting to Instagram with a mocking tone, "This is not true," followed by a rolling on the floor laughing emoji. The message was clear. Whatever people thought they knew about their relationship, they didn't. For fans, this was the breaking point. Some felt betrayed by the secrecy. Others admired their refusal to feed the beast of tabloid culture. But one thing was undeniable. The couple who once shared smiles on court and holidays on beaches were now connected mostly by silence, rumors, and denials. It left a haunting question. What really happened between Jannik Sinner and Anna Kalinskaya? Did fame crush something fragile? Did love clash with the relentless demands of professional sport? Or was this simply a story of two young athletes growing up under the spotlight, learning that privacy is the most precious victory of all? For the UK fans who watched this saga unfold from afar, it was more than tennis gossip. It was a reminder that athletes are not just machines built for glory. They are human, vulnerable, sometimes distracted, sometimes in love, and sometimes painfully alone. As Jannik Sinner's career rises higher and Anna Kalinskaya fights her way back through the ranks, their paths may still cross again, on court, in life, or perhaps never again in the public eye. But their story leaves us with an uncomfortable truth. In sport, victories are measured in trophies, but love is measured in scars. So I leave you with this question. Can an athlete truly protect love from the crushing weight of fame, or is every romance destined to break beneath the spotlight? If this story made you think, hit the like button, share it with friends who love tennis drama, and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of sport. And I want to hear your voice. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Jannik and Anna still have a chance, or is their chapter already closed?